You've probably heard a lot of rules about drinking, some passed around like wisdom, others more like myths that somehow stuck. But every now and then, a guideline pops up that actually makes people stop and think. One of those is the 2-2-2 rule for alcohol. It sounds simple, almost too simple, and that's exactly why it's been gaining attention. It's not a law, not a strict medical directive, and definitely not something enforced, but it is meant to help people rethink how they drink. So, what exactly is the 2-2-2 rule? Where did it come from, and does it actually make sense? Let's break it down and see what's behind this surprisingly catchy guideline. Right here on History of Simple Things. The 2-2-2 rule is a simple guideline for alcohol consumption that suggests limiting yourself to no more than 2 drinks per occasion, drinking no more than twice per week, and having at least 2 alcohol-free days in between. It's designed to create a structure that encourages moderation without requiring complete abstinence. Unlike strict health recommendations that can feel overwhelming, this rule is easy to remember and follow. It gives people a way to enjoy alcohol while keeping it within reasonable limits. The appeal lies in its balance. It doesn't say don't drink, but it does encourage you to think about how often and how much you're drinking. The 2-2-2 rule isn't officially tied to any single medical organization or government guideline. Instead, it seems to have emerged from general public health advice combined with social media and word-of-mouth sharing. Over time, people started simplifying existing drinking recommendations into something easier to remember. Health authorities around the world often suggest limiting alcohol intake, but those guidelines can be detailed and vary depending on factors like age and gender. The 2-2-2 rule condenses those ideas into a format that feels practical and accessible, which is why it has spread so quickly. One of the biggest reasons the 2-2-2 rule resonates with people is its simplicity. Most official alcohol guidelines involve numbers that can be confusing, standard drink sizes, weekly limits, and varying recommendations. The 2-2-2 rule strips all that down into something almost anyone can remember without effort. When a rule is simple, people are more likely to actually follow it. It becomes less about calculating and more about awareness. That shift from measuring every detail to just being mindful can make a big difference in how people approach drinking. At first glance, 2 drinks sounds straightforward, but it can be more complicated than it seems. A standard drink isn't the same as a full glass or bottle. It usually refers to a specific amount of pure alcohol, like a small glass of wine, a single shot of spirits, or a regular beer. In reality, many drinks served in bars or poured at home can exceed that amount. So when people follow the 2-2-2 rule, the effectiveness depends on how accurately they understand what a drink actually is. Without that awareness, it's easy to unintentionally go beyond the intended limit. The second 2 in the rule, drinking no more than twice a week, is about reducing frequency. Drinking every day, even in small amounts, can add up over time. By limiting alcohol to just 2 days a week, the rule encourages spacing out consumption. This gives the body time to recover and reduces the likelihood of forming a habit tied to daily routines. It also introduces a level of intentionality. Instead of drinking automatically, people start choosing when it's worth it, which can shift the relationship they have with alcohol. The final 2 focuses on having at least 2 alcohol-free days in between drinking sessions. This part of the rule is often overlooked, but it plays a crucial role. Alcohol-free days allow the body to process and recover without additional strain. It also helps prevent patterns where drinking becomes a regular expected part of everyday life. Over time, these breaks can make a noticeable difference, not just physically but mentally as well. People often report better sleep, improved focus, and a clearer sense of control over their habits. While the 2-2-2 rule is helpful, it's not a one-size-fits-all scientific guideline. Official recommendations from health organizations often differ based on individual factors like body weight, metabolism, and overall health. For example, some guidelines suggest different limits for men and women. The 2-2-2 rule doesn't account for these differences, which means it should be seen as a general guide rather than a precise standard. It's a starting point, not a final answer. When compared to official recommendations, the 2-2-2 rule often falls within moderate drinking limits, but not always perfectly. Some health authorities suggest up to 1 drink per day for women and up to 2 for men, with additional weekly caps. The 2-2-2 rule, on the other hand, focuses more on structure than totals. It may actually encourage less frequent drinking than some official guidelines, which can be beneficial. However, it doesn't replace professional advice or tailored recommendations. The 2-2-2 rule for alcohol stands out because of how simple and approachable it is. 2 drinks twice a week with 2 alcohol-free days in between. It's easy to remember, easy to follow, and easy to adapt. While it may not be a perfect or universal guideline, it offers something that many people find useful: structure without pressure. In a world filled with complicated advice, sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones that stick. And whether you choose to follow it or not, the real takeaway is the awareness it brings, because understanding how and why you drink can matter just as much as how much you drink. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.